Joining me now, Republican Congressman from Florida, Jimmy Patronis, who is also sitting on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us here on News Nation on your Sunday. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and happy Palm Sunday.
Yes, thank you so much, and to you as well. So I wanted to start with the action that we've seen at CPAC this week. President Trump did not attend for the first time in a decade. Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz was skeptical of the president's handling of the war in Iran and the potential dangers of sending troops on the ground, something that happened. Let's listen to that together.
A ground invasion of Iran will make our country poorer and less safe. It will mean higher gas prices, higher food prices, and I'm not sure we would end up killing more terrorists than we would create.
So it feels like we've got some of those things on the list going on right now. Obviously, the economy is the #1 thing that people are talking about here in the States. How do you view the president's handling of the war so far?
Well, I think the president is the ultimate negotiator. He knows he needs to be in a position of strength. He knows he has to send very visible indications of what he's willing to do, but you also hear him consistently through his team, through Marco, through J.D. Vance, through all those players, that negotiations are ongoing. But you cannot have effective negotiations to get to the position that you are trying to achieve without a sign of strength. The presence of the Tripoli, the New Orleans, those vessels with all of the military that are on board are sending that message loud and clear that if you do not want to participate in constructive negotiations, a plan B is under consideration. I do think that this president is very effective at playing the game of negotiator to bring this in for a landing.
Right. I mean, moving the machinery in is one thing, but the Pentagon is reportedly preparing for what they say are weeks of ground operations in Iran. Let's take a listen to Massachusetts Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss on the Hill Sunday about his concerns that Trump is trying to find an easy way out of the war.
What my concern is that he doesn't mistake the United States Marine Corps for that easy button, because I'm worried he's going to send 2,500 Marines into that strait, that he's going to tell them to seize Carg Island, he's going to tell them to seize these islands and shorelines around the strait, and they'll do it. They'll take it. These Marines don't leave missions half complete. But then within 15 to 30 days, they're going to require reinforcements or resupply, and that is the beginning of a boots-on-the-ground quagmire that the American public resoundingly rejects.
All right. I mean, do you share his concerns? He listed many of them.
No, this is the same guy that voted against funding TSA and Homeland Security. So I don't give him any credibility to what he's pointing out. But I will tell you this. The president has been trying to true up our standing in the whole entire world. Under the Biden administration, we were set back. And whether it be the tariffs, which ultimately ended up getting boogered up by the Supreme Court, all these things work in to try to reestablish our strength in the world, which has had a massive setback under Democratic leadership. So again, this is part of the tools that the president is using. I don't think it was probably what he originally intended as part of his plan, but this is ultimately what he had to do based on court rulings in order to try to reestablish our strength in the nations around the world.
All right. Well, we've got a big week ahead of us as we move forward. And also, speaking of what's happening this week, we've got TSA workers set to get paid again. I don't know if you've been traveling, but man, it's been a mess out there. I was at LaGuardia this week, and the lines were just as bad as that upper quad box that we're looking at here. And this is all despite the House passing that short-term funding bill for DHS. So as we're trying to figure out how this is going to end, how it's going to get resolved, how do the parties meet in the middle to get our airports back up and running smoothly and, most importantly, safely?
Well, the president is leading. He is going to go ahead and point out that if the Senate Democrats are not going to cooperate, then he's going to go ahead and pay our TSA agents. The House, we were into the chambers to about midnight. We did pick up some Democratic support, but a unanimous Republicans with some Democrats supporting fully funding of the government, moving forward to allow 60 days of cooling off, to sit down, to create common sense policy. Again, the Democrats in the Senate are scared to death of their radical base, and ultimately this becomes a very convenient fundraising tool for them because they're Democrats that have Trump derangement syndrome, and they blindly write checks. So unfortunately, until something catastrophic happens, I don't think the crazy Democrats in the Senate will come around.
Don't you some people would say some catastrophic things have already happened, and that's the concern, is that we're going to see possibly, more problems.
Hey, look, I agree. Look, these are men and women that are selling their plasma. They're living in their cars. They're doing whatever they can in order to continue to serve our country. They're public servants. So the president stepped up and is redirecting funds to make sure they get paid. That doesn't do anything for our Coast Guard. That doesn't do anything for Secret Service. That doesn't do anything for our Customs and Border Patrol.
All right. Well, we'll see where it goes from here, and we'd love to have you back on. Florida Republican Congressman Jimmy Patronis, thank you very much for being here.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.